Alrighty, we have hit the go live button. Still gathering some things. Just want to let people join the stream, make sure everything sounds okay. Hey Bowman, how you doing? We have hit the go live button. Nice, we sound good. We sound good. Patrick, I can get you that. I can get you that bracket you wanted in just a second here. I asked the tournament host, because it's not my tournament, I'm just casting their games for them. This is run by the BBB clan. They have done season 1 over the course of like 2 months or so. The prize pool's all theirs. Everything's theirs. So I know there's a bracket they shared with me, but I was just making sure, you know, I don't want to like, oh yeah, sure, here's the bracket. And then I get an angry message like, one of those series wasn't streamed yet, and you just showed everybody the results of it. And I'm like, fuck, my bad. So, you know, when it's not my event, I just tend to be a little bit more careful about sharing things. So I can get you that in a second. Just need to post the stream to the usual spots. What are we doing today? We have a best of 5 in the playoffs of aforementioned tournament. We did host a previous one, host casted, whatever you want to call it, between BBB's El Chef and Lenorm. DBD's Lenorm. Earlier on the channel last week, 2 weeks ago, last week, 2 weeks. Today we have two actual, I mean, I don't know if they'd consider me their friend, but two friends of mine. Two friends of mine. Hannodins, Stratgame. Stratgame is almost every night on the Vermin League ladder. One of the late night crew. Is known for unique builds, unique picks, and that sort of thing. He has a reputation around our server. Certain people hate him. Other people love him. He is divisive, to say the least, but you cannot argue that he is not interesting. Some of his more famous achievements are like playing Skaven with all Wolfrat and then Night Runners and Rat Ogres types of builds. He taught me one point, I was struggling with a Chaos matchup. It was back in Warhammer 2, so I forget what I was struggling to fight, but he gave me this build that was like 3 Chaos Knights, some dogs, some skirmish cav, and then a lord also on a horse. So like he has some of these all mobility things. He also, as far as I know, is the inventor of the double Gorgon Jabber Scythe Beastman build. So he has a very unique playstyle. Love him or hate him, you cannot argue. The man's creative. As for Hannodins, very frequent tournament host. Sorry, that is his opponent. It's on the blocker, but it's beneath my little camera. His opponent is Hannodins. Very, very frequent host. Part of the ODM clan. Sets up a lot of his own tournaments. Has done a lot for the community over the years. And also a quite good Tzeentch Khorne Demons of Chaos player. Generally, if you think it's a bad faction, Hannodins is going to pick it up and try to prove you wrong. When is the Faction War playoffs? Soon. Now that I have the top 4, I am talking to them and just trying to figure out a day that works for everybody. Yes. Just trying to figure out a day that works for everybody. Oh, people are busy. Okay, here we go. So, in the chat, Patrick was asking for this. I'll also just pull it up on stream while we wait anyway. There is the bracket. So we cast this one. 5-game series between El Chef and Lenorm. Lenorm's next foe is Blood Penguin, and they kind of schedule that as they're able, so I don't know exactly when that's happening. We are here with Hannodins and Stratgame. Stratgame previously defeated Sentencia 3-1. Alfredino and Cal Harmon. Did that already happen? I think that already happened on Tactical Itch's channel. It happened recently, so I won't talk about the result, but that did happen. You can go check it out on BBB Tactical Itch's channel. Before that, he defeated Cool Umbrella. And then also on Tactical Itch's channel, Central Scrutinizer fought Chief. It was another 5-game series, but Chief did prevail, and he'll fight Odium's the green one. I believe I am casting that next week, but we'll see. I mean, you know, sometimes stuff can happen, like you have to work or something. So I believe that will be on our channel as well. This is where we're at. So this is the first, wait, no, like I said, I think Alfredino and Cal Harmon got played. So this is the second quarterfinal to be played. It'll be with us. Okay, let's get these names right now that I am in the lobby and know where everybody is. I have 4 pings, is that... You might be wondering why Hannodins is not here. Hannodins is speaking to Stratgame, and they're doing picks and bans. But this is a big money tournament. It is playoffs, that sort of thing. And there still is that cheat mod floating around. C8 patched it in the last patch, and the guy who made it made another one. So we still have the system BBB came up with for avoiding any potential use of the cheat mod is you do your picks and bans, and then whoever's not the host of the lobby, Hannodins in this case, goes to a different lobby, makes his build, saves it, rejoins the lobby when he's ready, and just immediately readies up, his opponent readies up, and they, even if you have the cheat mod, you don't get to see the other guy's army. Right? So that's where Hannodins is. Strat has informed me of the stuff. Hannodins is going Lizardmen. And Stratgame's going Kislev. Huh. Kislev into Lizardmen. That's a bold pick. I think Kislev just overall felt like they're struggling right now, but we'll see what Strats come up with here. Because I think I said it out loud, but he picked Kislev into Lizardmen, so he knew what he was getting into. As for favorites on the day, if I had to do a prediction, I personally go with Stratgame 3-1. Now, I am a fan of both these guys, not playing favorites just for favorites, but pure no meme analysis. I know Hannodins was gone for like a week with some IRL stuff, so he was out and about, and Stratgame has been on that hard grind pretty much every fucking night. So, you know, Hannodins might struggle here. I'm probably going to go with Stratgame 3-1, but it'd be cool if it went to 5 games. And obviously, if either player wins, I'm not going to be bummed. They're both big chillin'. If either of them were against me, easy 3-0. Easiest 3-0 of my entire life. I'd wipe the floor with these players. All right, I'm going to catch up with chat. I just did all that intro stuff, changed all the names and everything, so yay. Santham, Rocket, Bowman, Feckett, Recess, Last Mohican. Hey, Last Mohican. I know you've been hanging around our Discord some, but don't often see you on the streams. How you doing? Kropep, Faithful by Name, Tom Bombadil. Faction War playoffs, yeah, we talked about that. I'm hoping for next week, but we will see. What up, Jeremy? Triple Ice Bear. Oh, yeah. I just realized something, but it would potentially be spoilers, so I'm gonna shush my little mouth. All right, sorry. We have some Discord pranksters I'm dealing with. That's funny. How's your doggy? Good. Hazel's good. She's chilling. She is good. The weather finally warmed up here. We had an unusually cold spring, like actually a ridiculously cold spring. So she has not been on a lot of walks recently. So yesterday I took her on a walk and a run. So she got out and about for a run. I shamed her pretty hard though, because we have an elliptical, and I'll watch League of Legends content while I'm on the elliptical or something. And So I stayed generally in shape. So we went for a run, and because it was only a mile and a half, right? I'm not a mega athlete or anything. It was like a mile and a half run, and by the mile point, she was dragging, and like I was outrunning her, and I'm like, there's absolutely no shot you're getting outrun by your old man right now. You are a dog. Dogs are fast. So she picked it up. She finished it out. She's fine. So the thing I was going to say, because I saw Stratgame's build, is when Chief played Central Scrutinizer, who's there, Chief is BBB and Strat's BBB. Chief played Kislev, and he had a very similar type of build in the matchup versus Ogres. I think Scrut was playing Ogres, but it's super Cav heavy for Kislev, which I just find so strange because, like, in my opinion, the Kislev Cav is awful. So if you go, if Kislev's struggling and their Cav is awful, the BBB internal meta is, what if we take a Kislev build and base it around their Cav, and the double bad cancels out? And my brain is like, what? No, it's just gonna be terrible. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Chief did take that game pretty close versus Scrut, so there's clearly something to it, right? If you end up with a close game. Because if it was like truly just garbage, then the game would have been a one-sided slap. Hey, Phoenix King. You're an Eldar now? That's fun. Strat's going Kislev Rocket? I am also surprised. Are you off work Thursdays and Fridays, Hume Boy? No, I keep coming home on my lunch break and then going back afterwards. I have to go back after this stream. I am salary though, so as long as I get my shit done, I can kind of go in midday or night. Like, obviously, I can't just the day of say like, you know what, I don't feel like it, fuck it, I'm going out. Like, I schedule ahead of time, which is why I really... If you are looking for me to cast your events, this is a friendly reminder to give me some fucking time, because I'm pretty flexible with my work schedule, but I do need to be ahead of it, right? So, Strat had told me about the stream Monday, and I scheduled my workflow around it. So today we're running some machine comparisons to make sure every machine that's running our medical tests gives you the same result, right? Because you don't want to be like, your bilirubin is high or your bilirubin is normal based on the machine. You want them to tell you what your bilirubin just actually is. So I knew we'd be running instrument comparisons today, so I went in a little early and started the machine for one. And that's running right now, and after the stream, in 4 hours, I got to go back in and take the exact samples in the exact order and put it on the other machine, and then that machine's going to run for 4 hours, and then I'll go back in even later and calculate all the results from the two and make sure that they're the same. So that's part of what I do for work. So I scheduled the runs correctly. Okay, all right, what are we doing? What's happening? I'll catch up with more of chat later. Y'all are so talkative and friendly. So that Kislev build is heavily around dervishes and winged lancers. I think I saw 3 winged lancers and 4 Kosovite dervishes. We do have 4 Streltsy. Streltsy are one of the few, unironically, just good units on the Kislev roster. Zarina's trying to scream over me, and I will win that fight. And a front line of Kossars and Kossar spears. So no armored Kossars, which are pretty insane melee combatants. This build from Kislev is quite weak in the melee. We also have Zarina as a caster with just Ice Maiden's Kiss. This is a pretty decent meta read, though, from Stratgame, and I actually like it a lot. Because the Lizardmen meta currently is abandon all infantry, ye who enter here. You get some skirmishers, you get some cold ones, you get a bunch of shooty shoot type units, and you get Ripperdactyls, healing, and maybe big monsters. So Strat knows there's not going to be a frontline fight, so why bother paying for frontline melee stats? He just got archers, and he's like, if you want to skirmish me, I have 12 ranged units here ready to fucking dance. And then he has some cabs, so pretty intelligent build. Hannodins seems to have known something was amiss because he grabbed double Ancient Salamander for the single entity kite to stay out of range of those Kossars and just shoot them from afar. He also has the 360 skink skirmishers we have been seeing so much recently to dissuade those Kossovite dervishes from diving on the Salamander. Some more jab skinks in the back. 2 Ripperdactyls or 3? 3 Ripperdactyls, one of which is Closton Hunters. We have some feral cold ones for a little bit of armor-piercing cav presence. And a Salon Mage Priest of Life with Flesh of Stone and Earthblood. It's pretty good builds for both sides. Unironically, I think after seeing the builds, I do actually think Kislev's probably going to be advantaged with the units on the field. Because their cav is so much better than what the Lizardmen's brought, right? Just like 4 basic-ass feral cold ones. And Ripperdactyls are great in the melee fight, but if they're getting shot by even these, the Kossars with bows, they're just going to have a bad time. Hannodins is trying to kite away, turning around with his ancient salamanders to fire whenever they're done reloading. Get his maximum DPS out. Last Mohican. You have a small kid, same logic about going out. Yeah, you don't want to go out, it's too cold. I live in Minnesota, so... We snap wildly between swamp-like heat and the frozen abyss. And, like, this year we legitimately got maybe 1 week of springtime weather, and we've already rolled into summer. I'm in my sleeveless shirt and shorts just so I don't sweat through a whole 2 to 3 hour stream. Golden Floof cheering for Strat. Is Billy Rubin a famous Spanish song / salsa? Oh, yeah. I meant Billy Rubin as in the thing in your body. So we do have double Salamander Kite. There's not a ton to talk about right now. Hannodins is buying space for himself by running away. He's shooting every so often. And Stratgame is just keeping his very, very cheap Kossar archers in the front to take the damage, while his Streltsy and his Cavs stay generally safe. He is getting us around, and the Lizardmen are getting closer and closer to that white line, which is not a good thing for them, right? Because if your back is to the white line, the closer you get to it, the worse it is for you. Because if they route anything off, like Skinks don't have particularly good leadership. If they route anything off, it goes off the map. And the Lizardmen are relying heavily on their healing to get through this, so they want their stuff to route, stay safe for a bit, and get healed up over time. If it goes off the map, that's 100 to 0, it's just dead. So Strat's being patient. He's pushing him back. Hannodins is getting what value he can with this uncontested time. So the last thing he wants is a full-out melee brawl. He's just not going to win that. He's not equipped for it. Isn't Zargard their only dedicated melee infantry? That's their only dedicated, but armored Kossars are super cost-effective. Armored Kossars are good. The reason Kislev is D tier is not because their infantry is bad, it's because you know it's coming. Their cavalry's bad, their artillery's bad, and there's only one of it, Little Grom. Kossars aren't particularly great, their lord choices aren't particularly great, so you just know you're either getting a bear blob or you're getting infantry spam, and that's why I rate Kislev pretty low. But their infantry isn't that bad. Not really. They could use some cheap melee infantry to mix it up a little bit, and Ice Guard could not be terrible. Those are the 2 changes I would really want for Kislev. Mostly they need a DLC. It's not that their units are terrible, it's that their roster is so small and predictable. But yes, their cav is terrible. I guess I shouldn't try to defend their cav, I hate them. Alright, Booj, I'll try to get you. Dude, there's 2 tournaments this weekend I'm playing in. RTKs and ODMs. Challengers of the Grail and RTKs. I guess Platypus just calls it Land Battle Tournament. I haven't been able to practice in so long because we've just been streaming or like working and stuff. So I'm going to play in them because I always do. It's tradition. But I'm going to be so out of shape, man. I need to do some just good practice streams soon. Ancient Salamander getting recharged by Cosified Dervishes. That's not going to do any damage. They're just harassing. And Strat's starting to make his move now. He's cornered in the Lizardmen quite effectively. That white line is back there. They can't retreat that way. And the Cav has gotten to all their sides. They are moving in slowly but surely. The Lizardmen are running out of space. And you can see what happens as soon as they try to commit to a fight. There's so many bows and arrows just nailing down these Skink skirmishers. The Skink cohorts are also trying to get into range. It looks like Hannodins is making a desperate attempt to break out. He's just committed to one side of the enveloping formation. He's running all of his stuff over here, and he's trying to leave this place. Ripperdactyls fighting Cosified Dervishes. They'll win that fight. They'll win that fight, but we'll see if any range support can come in for them. And meanwhile, Strat is just trying to close the jaws of the surround before Hannodins is able to break out. So we'll see if that is able to happen. Now, this is a lot of micro, especially, I mean, for both players. The Salamander Kite was very effectively done by Hannodins, but this is a lot of micro for Kislev to not overplay their hand, because a lot of their units are still ranged, so you don't want them particularly in melee and melee, but you can see Strat is forgetting one of his Streltsies. He's outed that to come up now. Cosified Dervishes and Winged Lancers holding for as long as they can, and they are getting good damage back onto these Ripperdactyls, I think with a little bit of range support, but the Lizardmen making short work of this Kislevite flank, trying to get out and about and get away from the trap. Tsarina and more Winged Lancers are charging into the Skinks, though, and this has come at a cost. Stratgame is catching up on the damage value when he was previously very behind during the skirmish phase. And Salamanders are running out of ammunition too, so even if Hannodins breaks out, his time on the clock is limited. A lot of the skinks are biting the dust, several of them are routing. And I imagine with all the cav superiority of Kislev, they aren't going to make it very far. You know, even if they get into the woods, I imagine there will be a Winged Lancer or a Cost by Dervish to run them down soon. Ripperdactyl's getting a nice heal. Lizardmen are up on the balance of power. Slaane's Bound Banishment hits some Kossars and stuff, but it doesn't seem to do too much damage. And whoever the Lizardmen left behind are dying. But it's mostly skinks and feral cold ones biting the dust. The 3 Ripperdactyls... Oh, there is one that took some serious damage. Okay. 2 of the Ripperdactyls are quite healthy. The Slaane is healthy. Both the Ancient Salamanders are healthy. So the big value pieces for the Lizardmen are chillin'. But this balance of power can be slightly deceptive. The ammunition on the Ancient Salamanders and these skinks are holding them up. So even if a unit is routing, if it's routing with a lot of ammunition, it holds up the balance of power a little bit. That being said, the balance of power says the Lizardmen are slightly favored, and I would tend to agree. This could be a big moment, though. The Pterodon's trying to find someone to fight. Ow, that was a nasty Salamander shot that just kind of happened behind my mouse there. Jesus. But I don't know. My initial fears about the Kislevite cavalry does appear to be somewhat founded, as it feels like they're getting good picks, and then what? Right? Like, these Winged Lancers are fighting skink cohorts. Okay. They're not really doing that much. They're fighting these feral cold ones. Okay. They're not doing that much. Like, Strat picked good fights with the unit, and the unit failed him, is roughly how I'm feeling here. Because I'm not seeing any, like, massive mistakes. There's just no oomph. There's no oomph behind the units he got in position. Kislev is starting to run out of bodies. Their Kossars and Streltsy are firing in, doing pretty good damage to these feral cold ones and the Colossadon Hunters. All the Ripperdactyls now have taken significant damage, but that Slaane with all of that healing, keeping them in the fight. Colossadon Hunters even getting close to their heal cap. The Salamanders are firing in on any blobbed up units surrounding those small single entities. Some of the skinks are rallying and firing back into the Winged Lancers, and Kislev is just falling further and further behind. Balance of the damage value they've kept up rather admirably, but versus any faction with significant healing, you know that the damage value only tells you half the story. Another Bound Banishment is going to catch multiple units. I think that is the beginning of the end for Kislev. Little Grom is great. He's cool. In competitive, I don't know if he's that great. He's janky. I like Stratgame strategy a lot. His surround of a kiting build was quite excellent. That's just Kislev. Another nice little Ice Maiden's Breath, but we are just waiting for the army losses to take hold. And yeah, Hannodins also played great. He kited away, and I really liked when his back was put against the wall. That is the correct thing to do, is pick a side and hard dedicate to that side and just bust out. Because if he spreads out, like, that's exactly what he doesn't want to do, is fight the whole Kislev army. So his army isn't built for melee. It's built to kite and shoot. But his entire army running into melee against a third of Stratgame's army, I mean, he can win that. So he bust out, got himself some space, got some more space for the Salamanders to continue firing, and did good there. Zarina, 300 value. Ice Maiden's Kiss really isn't that much of a breadwinner. Streltsy getting less value than I would have thought. I felt like they had plenty of time to shoot throughout the game. Winged Lancers performing decently for their price point, 850. So they didn't quite pay for themselves, but they tried. More value than I would have expected. Kossars, mixed value overall. Cost by Dervishes, again, mixed value. Slaane Mage Priest of Life, 800 damage value, including all of his healing. Ripperdactyls did not quite pay for themselves either. Ancient Salamanders did nicely. Feral Cold Ones, mixed value. Skink Skirmishers, mixed value. And Skink Cohorts, fine. GG. Look at the blocker back up, just to make sure I'm not revealing anything. You're starting a new game of CK3. Where should you start? I know England is boring, but I think England's probably my favorite campaign. My friends and I are currently co-oping a Byzantine Empire, and I'm Anatolia. Those are fine. I really haven't done a campaign in, like, Central Europe. Anywhere from France to Russia. I haven't done anything in there. I did a Viking, England, Ireland, Italy, Spain, Byzantine, and now Byzantine again. And I did Egypt once, and I forget the country. But it's in West Africa on the south coast. I picked a country down there, and I made a kingdom at one point. That's between Crusader Kings 2 and 3. I haven't played a ton of, like, I don't just sit grinding out 3. I play every weekend with some friends from high school. We kind of catch up on stuff. Umbrella and Goji are also doing a Legendary Lord Cat Point mod tourney Sunday night. That's true. Lizardman player felt like he had control over the game the whole time. Yeah. My assessment of that is both players played the early game quite well. Both players played the mid game quite well. Because Hannodins kept his stuff safe. He was pretty accurate with his shots. He was good with his healing. He was good at peeling off any time Stratgame tried to send his cavalry forward to harass the salamanders. But Stratgame also didn't overcommit on anything. You know, he took as little damage as he could while he got a nice surround. And I legitimately think that in the late game, it was like both players put their armies in positions and said, all right, guys, we did it. And then the kids, and you know, Hannodins turns to the Lizardman army, and the Lizardmen are like, we're A tier or S tier, baby. Fucking healing and all these poison darts and everything. We got your back, Hannodins. And Stratgame turns to Kislev, and they're all like, listen, boss, we don't have anything for you. You are completely fucked. That's how I feel. You played Poland and Hungary first too, didn't regret it. Certainly Central Europe and not the Holy Roman Empire is interesting. MRM? That could, like... I think Little Grom's fine in campaign. In multiplayer, it's mixed. There are certain players who really love Little Grom, and there are players who hate it. I'm a Little Grom hater, but it's not something that the community agrees on. So, like, you in my opinion, differ, but you're in good company. There are certain takes that you have, like, not you, sorry. There are certain takes that a person has that I would just be like, objectively false. No one thinks blank is a good unit. But yeah, Little Grom has some people who like it. I'm just not one of those people. I'm trying to think of an objectively bad unit as an example. What is an objectively bad unit? My mind is drawn to the High Elves. They usually have something that's terrible in their roster. Why am I blanking on this? The fuck? Okay, Doomflayers. Since I'm looking at Skaven, Doomflayers. Doomflayers are objectively terrible. How'd the first game go? It was a good first game. Both players played quite well. It was Lizardman Kite versus Kislev Slow Push. Stratgame picked Skaven. Hannodins picked Warriors of Chaos. Chat's got my back. Feral Mammoth, for sure. Hell Pit. Golden Floof, you're just trying to get my goat, and it's working. You son of a biscuit. Anyway, yeah. Feral Mammoth, Lion Chariots, those are objectively bad units. Little Grom is objectively bad. Most useless unit in the High Elves is the lightly armored archers. Ooh, Darko, you might be starting a fight. If Phoenix King's in here, you're gonna have issues. All right, we have 59 people here. I think it's time for a sponsor break while these guys set up their armies for a quick game two. Today's stream is sponsored by Coors Edge, non-alcoholic beer. Do you like water? Water that tastes like it's gone bad? Coors Edge. Grab yourself 55 for 10 cents. Coors Edge. Do you want to feel worse after drinking something that's pretty much just water? Coors Edge. Do you hate yourself and feel you deserve punishment? Coors Edge. Thanks for the streams, Big Rat. Anytime, Spirit. Was the Grail Week worse Warhammer 2? Yes. Yes. Spain is a fun campaign. Yeah. All right. So, this is what I was talking about with Hannodins, by the way. This is the Hannodins special, and it might be his downfall. But Hannodins fucking, and I don't know if he does it on purpose, and he's sometimes in our chat, so he might pop up and be like, Human Boy, you're wrong about me, don't put words in my mouth. So this is a Human Boy assumption, is that Hannodins hears me or others talking shit about certain factions, and he just has to main them to prove you all wrong. And it's Warriors of Chaos this time. I think it's a D-tier faction. I think it sucks. And I've also said that Be'lakor after the nerfs is not worth it. And Hannodins, best of 5 against a very good player, says, oh, we'll take Warriors of Chaos. I'm going to take Be'lakor. Eat shit, Human Boy. All right. So for the Forces of Chaos, we have 4 Horse Masters, 2 Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch. Skirmish Cav with shields is rather effective because of the way you want Skirmish Cav to play. 2 Hellstriders with Slanesh with Hell Scourges. Be'lakor himself, and then a bunch of Marauders and a single armored Chaos Troll with a flanking Chaos Warhound. Now, Be'lakor can maybe still be good versus Skaven. I legitimately haven't seen it since the nerfs. But Be'lakor used to be able to kind of solo out the roster if he's able, especially with his reducing immune to psychology and leadership. He can just cycle route stuff. But even that, it reduces your leadership by less now, so that it was one of the nerfs he took. This is very scary. Also, I'm not overly big fan of trying to skirmish Cavs against Skaven. I think they're pretty good at dealing with that, if they have Jezzails or something. Now, Stratgame plays a lot of Skaven. We saw him recently in the Faction War versus Alfredino's Tomb Kings. We have 4 Night Runners, 3 Poisonwing Globes, Ikklaw, a Chieftain, and a Packmaster. He loves this combination of Lords and Heroes, with Flensing Ruin, Howling Warp Gale, Unlimited Power, and Brass Orb. I will read the donations in a bit. I am just busy with this right now. 4 Rat Ogres, and then a bunch of Clan Rats with Spears. This is the sort of style Strat likes with Skaven. He has very unique builds, a very different playstyle from mine. So if you're used to only seeing me play Skaven on this stream, Strat's another good person to keep an eye out for, because he plays Skaven as much as I do, but in a very different style, which is cool. We have some skirmish. Now, without a Warp Lightning Cannon, Plagueclaw Catapult, or Jezzails, the Marauders and their skirmish is able to dictate the pace of the game, so now that does put Skaven on the back foot, and Strat is going to have to get a little more aggressive with his Night Runners to counter skirmish with them, though they are outranged by Hannodins. Fat Kid at Recess, $5. I'll pay you not to drink that. Yeah. I drink non-alcoholic beer because, one, I'm streaming right now, and 2, my family has some genetic liver stuff, so I need to be nice to them. I have a drink every once in a while, but yeah, I just need something besides water to drink. Stratgame is advancing forward, realizing he's getting slowly picked apart by Melkos mystifying Miasma spam, and that is doing a lot of damage to Poison Globes, good lord. Oh, also, to continue my crusade of not being labeled as a biased Skaven main, when in the tier list I said they're C tier, not because they got nerfed, because the meta shifted around them. I did mention a certain playstyle that Skaven have been struggling with, and does it involve a large, expensive single entity with healing going wherever they please and cycle routing off the entire Skaven army? Is that something that I have said several times is very strong against Skaven in the current meta? Does Be'lakor have self-healing? He is very expensive and he could go wherever he pleases? If Skaven struggle in this game, that might be another point for old Hummus Boy, saying that the meta shifted around the Skaven and they're not a bad faction, they're just not favored in this current style of game. Hummus Boy. Anyway. Silly shenanigans to fill time aside, The Chaos Skirmish Cav used about, collectively, about a third of its ammo so far, so it still has 2/3 left to go. And spammed out Melkoths are going to finish routing those Poison Globes, which the Chaos Warhounds with Poison are happy to go and grab. Harbor Titan needs some love? Yes, it does. You're biased as fuck. I try to be fair when I talk about like Skaven and stuff, just because they're my favorite faction. I very frequently say, oh, this could be the first good volley for them all game. Oh, very nice stuff from the Globes. Their damage over time isn't that good, but the explosion damage itself is nice. So he took half health off the Marauder Horsemaster. And Stratgame's actually up on damage value over the course of this game. Though the gold damage value is bugged. There are several times where like a unit can have more gold damage value than it says your whole army has, so I don't know what that's about. Anyway, like when I talk about Skaven, I have always said Skaven don't need another DLC. Like there are 4 or 5 factions, actually way more than that, but there are 4 or 5 factions that definitely need DLC before Skaven do. I'm not the most biased main, you know. Another Melkoths, another routing Poisonwind Globe, leaving Strat with just 1. How are his Night Runners doing? 3 of them aren't feeling so hot. Where's the 4th? There he is. He's on the far side. Yeah, he's chilling. But he's almost out of ammo. Oof. Long Paul Doree, you did catch me on that one, though. That is pretty funny. I didn't realize I was doing that. I remember that person also saying a faction solo carried by Archie. Okay, in general, not versus Skaven. Archaon's not very good versus Skaven. He has Burning Head and Spirit Leech and stuff, which like sounds good, but he has no healing. And his small model size being on a horse, he can actually get surrounded by Rat Ogres and kind of fucked up. Plus Flensing Ruin just murders him. Healing is an important part of fighting Skaven, because Flensing Ruin is so powerful that if they just spam it on a lord with a finite amount of health, they're going to kill that lord. So Archaon's not as good. But like Be'lakor, when he's nearby things that are routing, he gets healing. So if you throw some Flensing Ruins on him, he can chuck out 60% damage resistance, mitigate a lot of that damage, and then even over time, get some of that health back. So yeah, you can't just slap a big single entity into your build and expect to win. It needs healing support or Flensing Ruin's going to kill it. Gib Thankful, that would be so good. Unlimited power is popped from Ikit Claw. He's charging up some Winds of Magic. And Stratgame's actually still ahead on the gold value, which I find very funny. Use bus? Yeah. Globes are tough. Sometimes they're necessary. But Fate of Yuna, and you can see how good like Melkoths is versus them too. And Melkoths isn't even that expensive, is it? It's only 5 Winds of Magic, and it's just deleting these globes. So people have just figured out how to deal with the globes, which is fine. Like globes were OP and unfun. I'm not pretending that they weren't. So I'm kind of glad people have figured out how to deal with them. But Skaven could use some help in certain aspects. Now, one thing that could happen, I wouldn't be upset about, is not Skaven buffs, but healing and death magic nerfs. And then Skaven would rocket back up the tier list. So I don't think actually Skaven need buffs. I think the things that are problematic in the meta need nerfs, and then that'll help Skaven out enough that they don't really need too much more moving around. Now, obviously, you can give dog shit units some like buffs, like Throt the Unclean is still hot garbage. Mutant Rat Ogres are hot garbage. Hell Pits could maybe use buffs and stuff, but I'm not talking about like the Skaven roster as a whole, just the units that are considered a meme. The gold value is bugged, Warriors of Chaos are ahead, yeah. Like that entire Melkoths, as Bowman's saying, that entire Melkoths, Hannodins is not getting value from for some reason for the damage value, which is dumb. Help, they have Warp Fire Throwers. Alright, here comes the Shadow Shroud, Flensing Ruin, Overcast, but 60% damage resistance is fucking brutal to deal with. Skaven probably unplayable in a few patches since CA slows both single entities, make them viable in domination. If chariots get fixed, it's going to be brutal. Yeah. What's up, Black Knight? Another Melkoths, now onto some Night Runners. But the Skaven army is getting whittled down to the point where it's like, I mean, Be'lakor could just walk in here and he'll rout off these globes, he'll rout off these Night Runners and such. That's gonna be tough. I don't know what Strat can do. Chaos just skirmishing around. Welcome to the old Chaos meta. The skirmish cav and fuck around Chaos meta. Slow spell kite with skirmish cav hitting every so often without agency. There's nothing they can do. Yeah. What up, Black Knight? How you doing? Aren't the Bell and Furnace considered chariots? Yeah. But when people say like chariots are struggling, I don't think it's super like I know you're being kind of silly, McCryface, but that is actually a point where like sometimes people point out one example of a unit type doing well, and I'm like, yeah, but we're not talking about the one that is good. We're talking about the several that are bad. I don't know. Same kind of thing with like cavalry. Cavalry's a big one. Where people hear me talking about cavalry changes and like, oh man, we need cavalry fixes and we need this and we need this for cav. We need all these things for cav. And people are like, well, it's already a cav meta. No, it's a healing meta. Cav itself is pretty bad. Like you don't see factions without healing taking much cavalry and doing well. Like earlier in this stream, we saw Kislev take a fuckload of cavalry, and it was losing to like skinks because the charges aren't working correctly. You charge a skink, it does very little damage for some reason because the charges are like broken. The cav you see doing well are on rosters like the High Elves that have a ton of healing support, Lizardmen that have a ton of healing support, Ogres that have a ton of healing support, and it's like I'm trying to talk about like Bretonnia that has a ton of healing support, Empire which can have a ton of healing support. But cav in general is not doing that good. It's healing that's fucking busted. Another Flensing Ruin overcast. Bellacor's down to half HP. And imagine, now remember, he has been saving those 60% ward saves for whenever that Flensing Ruin's cast, and after 2, he's already down to half health. Like, imagine that's Archaon. Without the potential for healing later in the game, and without the 60% damage resist, Archaon would legitimately be like 1/4 HP or lower. Alright, for Hannodins, ammunition is running danger low. His other cav have some ammo left in them. The Skaven have some healthy-ish rat ogres, some healthy clan rats, and their 3 single entities, but all of their range has been knocked out. You missed the triple Blood Knight meta? Yeah, dude. Blood Knights compared to Vargheists, not even close. And that's the sad part, is like if you get a nasty Blood Knight charge onto some infantry, it does very little damage, but if Vargheists charge, they tear it apart. Jolly Jungler. Fair enough, fair enough. I do know that chariots are a counter to... Chariots are definitely a counter to boxes, and certain players have been very frustrated about the box meta. That isn't at the highest level of play, but in the mid to low tiers, box meta is very, very strong, and chariots are a natural counter to that, so I think people are... Overall, there could be some chariot buffs and people would be happy, but... yeah. 12 minutes on the clock. The Skaven army is getting slowly whittled apart. This is skirmish, unfortunately. I am not a kite enjoyer. Some people really like it. Some people like the mechanics of it and that sort of thing. I am a lowbrow, take units, slap them together, big loud fight person. I suspect Dream Vermilor is the function much like the Keeper of Secrets, although tougher and with some strong AoE leadership. Hey, Booge. If I'm around after work, I will. I gotta go back to work after this. But thank you for the $10, man. It's very nice of you. Alright, Chaos at last committing to the melee fight. Jumping in there. I have a ping. What's it about? It's from Turin server. Doesn't matter right now. No. Okay. Just making sure nothing I need to deal with. The melee fight is occurring, but Be'lakor is in here now as he lands Another Shadow Shroud, another overcasted Flensing Ruin. Ikit Claw has overcasted himself down to about half HP, and the Skaven are attempting to just blitz through all these Marauders and such. Be'lakor dives down, and this could be a mistake. Stratgame's Packmaster and his Chieftain are nearby. They're ready to help out, and that damage shield is about to wear off. Be'lakor going for the big snipe on Ikit Claw has got him down to under half HP. He is getting consistent hits in slowly but surely. And now Howling Morphgale has netted him in place. His Shadow Shroud is gone. He's still taking Flensing Ruin damage, and the Chieftain and Packmaster are beating the shit out of him. He is gonna get close to Demonic Instability crumbling, and maybe after that the Skaven can hold on. Because without his Terror Routing, without any of that, oh, can he get out? It finally wears off. The net is worn off. He is trying to get back into the sky now. His leadership's at 18-24. It's stabilizing as he gets away. He will escape the snipe attempt, but the bounce power comes right back to the middle with Be'lakor taking all that. And the Packmaster just stops chasing him. Maybe could have gotten another shot off there, but he didn't want to get hit by all this skirmish cav. For the Forces of Chaos, Hellstriders have taken a lot of damage. The Armored Chaos Trolls are still fighting, and oh, a big potential rout is coming in here as Ikit Claw tries to dive in, tries to save the situation with his leadership buffs to keep the Skaven fighting. Goodbye. But Human Boy, Scourge Runners are good. That means Chariots are good? Yeah, watch Scourge Runners run into melee. But I know you're trolling me. I know. This is pretty funny. It must be more exciting to play Kite than watch it for sure. Yeah. Not a big fan of watching Kite, but there are people who are. Oh, and is Shadow Shroud off cooldown as a fourth Flensing Ruin. Overcast comes in. Again, Ikit takes the damage. He also takes damage from limited power, so he is sniping himself out, but he's desperately trying to kill Be'lakor. And unless Shadow Shroud is available, this will be the death of the Chaos Caster. I don't see it coming up just yet. He's still ticking down. He has over half the spell's time left. His leadership is tanking a bit, so if he starts crumbling, that will be a disaster for Be'lakor. But Ikit Claw has exhausted himself casting all these Flensing Ruins. He's taken so much damage. And the Skaven army is routing across the board. Just everything is leaving except for the hero Hammer. The Flensing Ruin wears off, and Be'lakor maintains his leadership. I am just completely shocked that he has 18 leadership while sitting at that minuscule of health. I thought for sure he would start crumbling away, but he's going to hold on. And if he chases units off the map, he can just heal. He can just heal the whole time. Grieven. I'm scared of getting into multiplayer. I feel like I would get demolished by everybody. Jolly Jungler, if you want to. We have in our Discord a new player section where only new players hang out. And we have like lists of people who will talk to you about factions and those kinds of things and give you builds. If that's something you want to get into. But if you're just chilling on campaign, you don't feel like playing multiplayer, that's also fine. You do you. But yeah, if you feel like it, you can join our Discord, get the Rat Ogre role, as we have Rat Ogres on the screen right now. Get the Rat Ogre role, play with some other new players. Have a good time. Game 3 leadership buffs are wild. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. Though Be'lakor, what the fuck? He dives on Rat Ogres? He dives on routing Rat Ogres, and that somehow lowers his leadership enough to get him to crumble away. All of a sudden. That was very silly. Basically, for the Skaven, the only thing not routed right now is this Chieftain. He's doing his best to kill an entire Chaos army, which seems unlikely. For Chaos, we do have some Marauder Horse Masters around to still chase things off, and some dogs, but no real infantry left. Nothing left of much consequence, and Ikit Claw is about to die. If these Marauder Horsemen of Zinj can catch up to him, it's over. Yeah, Jolly Jungler, we have a community of fellow degenerates. You lose a lot when you start multiplayer. It's fun. It is pretty fun. Ikit Claw! 2,800 value from his many Flensing Ruins. I don't take unlimited power because I hate how much damage it does to Ikit. But he did get off more Flensing Ruins than I would ever get off with Ikit Claw, so there is definitely a cost-benefit analysis to be done there, but Ikit got a lot of value. Chieftain and Packmaster did fine once the melee actually started. Rat Ogres got just murked across the board. Night Runners did fine. Considering they're only a 450 cost unit, this is actually pretty decent value for them. Melkoth killed a bunch of Poison Globes. Clan Rats, again, they also struggled. For Be'lakor, 2,550. 700 in the Armored Chaos Trolls, 1,200, 900, 900, and 600 for the Marauder Horse Masters. Hellstrider struggled a bit. Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch did just fine. And Marauders did fine. What up, Caradog? What's up? Alright, we have an attacking rule break discussion that the tournament organizers will have to deal with. So much effort for the good old Be'lakor. His heart couldn't take it anymore. They need to rework cavalry for the human factions as to have the horse models work the way the Chaos Horses do. Newer models don't have a lot more mass, but the animations and how they fight is better. Yes. Umbrella? Yes, correct. It has a chance to hit. I just feel like it hits an awful lot, and I hate how much damage it does to it. I don't think it's a bad item, it's just I don't like... I struggle hard enough to keep my Lord alive as it is, so I don't like him taking damage of his own volition. It's a 50% miscast, yeah. Whomst won and who allegedly broke rules? Hannodins won, and there was a question of the attacking rules. So the tournament admins are dealing with it. With kite stuff, that gets tricky, you know? You play on, like, the very edge of attacking, so... Not shocking it comes up. Jolly just showed up in my server. Jolly, are you the same Jolly that's here? Might as well do a plug while we wait for the attacking rule discussion. If you want to be like Jolly, you can join into my Discord. The link's in the description. You can go to the Give the Rat Ogre role. And with the Rat Ogre role, you'll have access to the new player chats and the best of one practice bot. Basically, all this bot does is if you type !game, and somebody else has typed !game, it just tells you, hey, you and you fight each other. This guy will pick a faction, ban 3 they don't want to fight, then the other person picks a faction, and it gives you a map. There are the fruit rules. Fruit rules are what we use in tournaments. Very basically, very basically, all that means is be attacking in some form at all times. Don't corner camp on the white line. Don't put your whole army in a forest. It just, like, it prevents... Well, it tries to prevent just dickish behavior that nobody wants to see. So pretty much just like play a game, pick an army, try to attack your opponent in some fashion, and you're good to go. That's all there really is to it. So, yeah. Fruit Rules also has unit caps that are slightly different than the unit caps in game, but they're slightly different. You're playing with other new players, it doesn't matter nearly as much. Like if you are brand spanking new, I would probably just throw unit caps on. Or if you do open this up, it looks more intimidating than it is, I promise. But you can just scroll down to the faction you want, like Beastmen, and it says you can take 4 dogs and 4 poison dogs and 4 razor gores. If you're picking manticores, you can only take 2. That's the same as unit caps. Like there's no difference there. You can only take 2 manticores and unit caps, I believe. So. That's all this is, really. These are all written out for, like, at the highest levels of tournament play, like the situation, you know, we're in right now with Hannodins that these guys are dealing with. They can read all this stuff, but essentially it's like attacking rules. Players must attack at all times. Okay. That's all it is. If you have a cannon shooting, the rest of your army can take a smoke break. It doesn't matter. It's just about... pushing the game forward in some capacity. Alright, Cyrus is sending me anime things. I refuse to watch anime because I'm not an anime degenerate like some of you people. That's not true. I do enjoy some anime. Gurren Lagann is lit. Breathe. What? Why? Why am I being told to breathe? Edmund's ruling for someone in their clan is not great, honestly. I don't know. Figure out. Thanks for bringing so many land battle tournaments. Hell yeah, dude. Though I haven't been hosting them all. ODM, RTK, BBB. I do host some, obviously, but I don't host them all. I just cast a lot of them. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with chat, which is popping off. Are they planning to play the next game while they wait? I don't know. Green one's typing to me, calling me a little bitch. I'm going to read, to fill time, I'm going to read out what Green One was talking to me about. Hey, bro. I hear you're a little bitch boy, a little whiny baby man. And I say, Green One, that is not very nice. You're not being nice to me right now. And he says, oh, I'm sorry. Does bitch boy not like being called bitch boy? And then I sent him a sad emoji, and I unfriended him on Facebook. All right. Strat was sending me the replay, and he's like, in case you want to fill time. Yeah, you are, hummus. What up, Green Bean? How you doing, man? How you doing? Oh, boy. No. Dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. I'm fast forwarding to the part that's in question. That's the next lobby. Dun, dun, dun. I'm just trying to touch my bummies. Test sound like something that Green One would say. Oh, yeah. Dude, Green One's a jerk. He's literally the meanest person that's ever existed. He's always bullying me. He came to my house once. I offered him tacos. He said, I prefer quiche. So he made me make an entire quiche from scratch. which is bullshit, because actually I don't really make or eat quiches. Okay, it sounds like the next match is ready, but at 10 minutes to 10:45 is when there was like no attacking apparently. So, just reviewing it, so y'all can see for yourselves. Yeah, I can see what both players are talking about. Where like Hannodins could make an argument that he was moving into surround, and I could definitely see that. And I could see Stratgame's argument about you're not attacking, you're just fartsing around so you can get more Melkots off. It's tricky for sure. I do not envy whoever has to make that judgment. That was borderline as fuck. Where the hell? Stratgame just sent me the code for the lobby. I haven't updated the score intentionally because I don't know if that game is gonna count. Sorry, someone was typing about something. Okay. I'm back. So, next game is Stratgame was texting me Greenskins versus Dark Elves. Oh, shit. Okay. I hope for Stratgame's sake, Cool Umbrella is right. So, Cool Umbrella plays a lot of Greenskins and Nurgle. And I have maintained since Warhammer 1.2, the very, very rarely spoken of Nintendo Wii release of Warhammer, that Dark Elves is a shit matchup for Greenskins. It sucks ass, and I hate it. It's super easy for the Dark Elves to win. Now, Umbrella says, hold on, human boy. Hold on. I think Greenskins have a shot here. And he provided 3 or 4 good, reasonable arguments that I quickly dismissed and said, no, you wrong, big kappa, lol, and laughed in his face. But Cool Umbrella is clanmates with Stratgame. They also play quite a lot. They are both part of the late night crew. So I think Stratgame has been infected by Cool Umbrella's lies that this matchup is good for the Greenskins. And I'm down for it, you know. If he's right, if Hannodins comes in with your Dark Elves and gets his ass handed to him by some Greenskins, I'm here for it. I will cheer louder than the rest of anybody else because Greenskins are currently my second favorite faction behind El Scavinos. But I think this sucks for the Greenskins. I think the Dark Elves are really, really strong versus Green Beans. GS also on the side of Cool Umbrella. Since 3.0, I think it's quite Greenskins favored. We'll see. We'll see. I just struggle to see what they do against Dragon Lord, Soul Stealer, and getting routed off the map. But I don't know. If everything was super... That is one thing I'll say about the meta, and like I try to say that at the start of every tier list video I make, where I like the disagreements as long as people have reasons for their disagreements. Not like, you know, High Elves A tier, no, High Elves D tier, because fuck you. And I'm like, all right, because fuck you is pretty strong analysis that I can definitely use in my future games. But like, I don't know. I like that the game isn't solved yet. You know what I mean? I like that I play greenskins and I can have an experience that makes me think it's very favored for Dark Elves. And then people like GS or Umbrella or Stratgame can pick it into Dark Elves and hopefully, so we can get more games, hopefully do quite well. You know, that's what makes the game fun. Solved games are less fun. Sorry, type into GS. Okay. Love to see wyverns brought up to par. I don't know why a feral wyvern isn't allowed, dude. We have dragons, we have terrorgeists, which are terrible. We have phoenixes. We have all these other flying single entity monsters, and then it's like, wyverns? Nah, dude, they'd be OP. They don't have a breath attack. They have a very small health pool, and their melee stats are hot garbage, but nah, dude, they'd be too strong. You don't know if Cool Umbrella plays it like you do? Yeah, it doesn't matter how he plays it. It's just like, you know, if you have a way to play it into Dark Elves that you feel pretty strong about, it's good. Pump wagon meta? Dude, pump wagons are the weirdest thing. So Umbrella was telling me that they're really strong. Umbrella was telling me pump wagons are really strong. I'm like, nah, bro, you're full of shit. And he's like, dude, trust me, they're really strong. And then Mr. Teufel sends me this replay, and he's like, check this out. And they beat Empire Knights on the charge, which is not supposed to happen. And I go, okay, all right, I'll bite. What's this about? So I get in a voice chat with Umbrella. We're playing some Nurgle versus Greenskins, and my pump wagons just decimate everything. They're so strong and overpowered and all this stuff. I'm like, yo, these are insane. He's like, I've been telling you, man, they're insane. And I'm like, I guess you were right. My bad. And I have not seen Greenskins since. And it's like, bro, this unit is so strong. And no one takes Greenskins. No one takes the unit. It's like, what the fuck, man? But like, people know it's good, you know? So it's just funny to me. I'm sure there are reasons like, okay, maybe the pump wagons are strong, but there's a lot of bad matchups for them, or their lord options aren't that great, yada yada. Like, the game is complicated, so I'm sure there's reasons it's not like strong unit, hit start, go burr, win game. But it's funny how much people are losing their minds about how strong pump wagons are, and it doesn't transition into wins or tournament games or anything, because yeah, now that we're getting into game, to cap off my point, Strat didn't fucking take any, which is part of what I'm talking to you about behind the blocker. I didn't want to give it away ahead of time. I didn't want to give it away ahead of time. But I also saw a greenskin build being taken in a playoff game, playoff finals, and there's no fucking pump wagons. So it's just funny. It's just funny. 24 factions will keep a lot of mystery stuff for sure, dude. Boojilicious owning me with facts and logic. But wyverns are allowed. I meant the feral wyvern, yeah. Alistair the White Lion. I was so excited when he got moved up into the Lord slot from the campaign exclusive, but then if you turn unit caps on, he gets grayed out. It's bullshit. He's not even good. That's the thing that sucks about Alistair. He's not even good, and he's still part of campaign exclusive. Especially being watched by thousands of Total War players and new players. I need to know in what world Hannodins broke attack rules so I can understand. It'd just be like not advancing or progressing the game in a orderly fashion, but it was definitely an edge case. And they're working on it right now. We're just going to cast the game that we have in front of us. Aren't they banned for this? I don't know, my last Mohican. That would be news to me, but it would make sense. Any of the BBB representatives could probably tell you. I'm just a guest here. I'm casting the video games. Umbrella Ransom? Ah. Okay, so the score is 1-0 until I get... until I get an official thing telling me who won or lost that game, by the way, in case you're like, you forgot. It is in debate, and it looks like we're moving forward while the tournament admins figure that one out. So, sorry about that. Okay, for Stratgame, we have Orc Boarboy Biggins and Forest Goblin Spider Riders mirrored on each side. Then we have 2 Stone Trolls in the middle, 4 Squig Herds, 5 Goblins, a River Troll Hag with Fate of Buna and Spirit Leech, the Broken Tusks Mob, Orc Boar Boy Biggin, and then Skarsnik with Spite of the Bad Moon and Fermented Fungi. And even if this does end in a greenskin loss, this man brought Skarsnik and the greenskins for you. He brought Kislev for you, and he brought Skaven with a shitload of Night Runners and a Chieftain and a Bonebreaker. So remember that. Remember that when you go to sleep at night, that sometimes people believe in the dream of the meme. For Hannodins and the Poop Elves. The Poop Elves. Hate Dark Elves. I'm reading the Malice Darkblade books right now. They're very good. Still hate Dark Elves. Normally, when I'm reading a book about a faction and the books are good, I'm like, man, I want to play that faction when I get home. Not Dark Elves. I want to play Malice. I want to play specifically Malice because I love his voice lines. But the faction of the Dark Elves, no, fuck them to death. I hate them. All right. Cold One Knights, Dark Riders, kind of sprinkled throughout. It looks like 3 Cold One Knights, 2 Dark Riders. Then we have 4 Black Ark Corsair Hambos, 3 Black Ark Corsair Hambos, 2 Witch Elves, some Bleak Swords and Dread Spears, and a 3rd Witch Elf that I missed. Okay, and then we have the Sorceress of Dark, Malekith's wife. It's just Malekith without the physical resist and Gaze of Malice. So she has her 20% damage resist from Opal Amulet, Soul Stealer, and Power of Darkness. Cool, cool. Ruled not a rule break? Okay. It was ruled legal, it was 2-0. Gotcha. Gotcha, cool Umbrella. Thanks, Golden Floof and Umbrella, for working on that. Okay. Sorry, I was just reading this stuff. There was engagement. Spider Riders fighting Cold One Knights. They are going to lose that fight. But down here, the Greenskins are doing well. The Orc Boarboy Biggins and Stone Trolls getting in with the Dark Riders, and the Supreme Sorceress of Dark is trying to bail out this fight. It's not going particularly well for her side, as the Cold One Knights are going to get side charged by the Broken Tusks mob. That's going to be a lot of damage on those Cold One Knights. Cold Knights are a lot of things, but they are not tanky in any capacity. Meanwhile, the Squig Herds and Goblins are tearing through the Dark Elf front line, and these Black Ark Corsair Hambos are going to have to do a lot of work, I guess, plus the Dragon Lord. Yeah, you can never forget the Dragon Lord, but... Is that a Fate of Buna? Is that a Fate of Buna onto a Black Ark Corsair Handbow? Stratgame, you monster! I don't know if that is a unit I really give a shit about, but I suppose... Yeah, there's a Cold One Knight. Probably want to do it on one of the Cold One Knights instead. The Stratgame's just like, nah, fuck these Handbows, hate them. I can respect that. I can respect that. A Wall goes down, nicely cast while most of his units are engaged in melee. More Spider Riders diving the back line with the Black Ark Corsair Handbows. I blanked on what their name was for a second. The Greenskins are overrunning the Dark Elf front line, which is kind of what you would hope out of Greenskins, right? With a nice wah pop like that. Witch Elf's taking a lot of damage. And with the Dark Rider support, they should beat the Forest Goblin Spider Riders in the back. Ooh, especially with the Dragon landing in. But they took good damage for what they were doing, and now Goblins are harassing the Black Ark Corsair Handbows, really keeping them on the back foot. Everywhere you look, Dark Elves are routing. Greenskins are massively up on the balance of power, considering we're only 4 minutes in and the fight just started. Also, Stratgame is up by about 500 gold value, so that is pretty close, but it is a good start. What could be a concern is this rampage that's happening right here. You could lose the Broken Tusk mobs and the Stone Trolls. Especially if the Stream Sorceress Dark comes over here and adds a Breath Attack or a Soul Stealer or something. Skarsnik throws down his Fermented Fungi onto the Golden Knights, making their melee defense a pitiful 4. And they are rampaging into a fight they potentially don't want to be in. Meanwhile, the Dark Elf Supreme Sorceress is just trying to rout off some goblins and buy her Black Arquebuser Hambos some space. Hannodins has stopped the bleeding for now. That balance of power went in the favor of the Greenskins and then stopped about where it was as a second Wah comes in for the Greenskins. Normally, in most games, they only get 2. They get 2 Wahs pretty much. The third one is just so hard to achieve that I think this will be it for them. Supreme Sorceress is coming over. She's going to do a Breath Attack straight down to the Dark Skarsnik. Really, really good damage, and I suspect she will be landing as well. Yeah, she's going for the snipe. She's realized that she needs to get that leadership of the Greenskins down. She needs to get them low, because look how low they are across the battlefield. Like, their health bars are fine. It's not what we're talking about. Their leadership bars are all low, and Hannodins has identified he needs to Lord Snipe or lose this fucking game. Here comes the Soul Stealing. Here comes the part I worry about. The part I struggle with in every game of Greenskins versus Dark Elves. You can't stop Soul Stealer. You can't stop the Dragon Lord from doing what it's going to do. Quick Fate of Buna on the Cold One Knights. Tries to bail out the situation for Stratgame. Buy him some space for the Stone Trolls. Well, I think he was trying to save him before they routed, but then they did rout. And Skarsnik is routing. He's running away from all of his support, and the Supreme Sorceress of Dark is going to catch him. This happens to me every time! No matter what lord it is, they just get sniped. Skarsnik is bouncing away, and the Supreme Sorceress of Dark is committing to the River Troll Hag rather than chasing down Skarsnik, allowing him to rally, and the bounce power for the Greenskins comes back. That is a mistake from Hannodins. He needed to chase Skarsnik down. I don't think there is a reasonable argument that attempting to snipe the River Troll Hag was more worth it there. Now Skarsnik is back. He has full health Stone Trolls sprinting downhill. They are getting great downhill charges, but Stratgame has just allocated his resources to this part of the map to be here as a warning. They're here just to stop that Supreme Sorceress of Dark from doing whatever she wants, because they're so nearby that they could actually pin her down. The other Stone Trolls are also rallying, though they are so low on health and leadership that I think she can land in them with no issue and tear out them off. The Greenskins have weathered a very scary moment in the game, and they are coming back in it now. Dispersed Goblins and Spider Riders can chase off any Dark Elves that are routed. We still have 2 Blackheart Corsairs with a good amount of health. Quick Breath Attack from Hannodins does a little bit of damage to the Stone Trolls, but does not finish them off. And Skarsnik and his River Troll Hag rallying around these trolls. The healthy ones for their leadership, and the wounded ones to keep them around so they keep healing. This is a tense one. This is for sure a tense one. Broken Tusk mobs do pile forward. They're going to fight for a little bit, but I think their leadership is about to run out, and they will get going. But the balance of power is entirely hinged on this very expensive full health Lord, and she's going for the dive attempt, but these other Stone Trolls are right here. Can they come in? Can they hit her? Is there a Fermented Fungi to lower her leadership, melee defense down? But they tear her out at like full HP. You kidding me right now? You're gonna tear her out, leaving Skarsnik completely abandoned. The trolls just fucked him. They fucked him on that one, and Skarsnik gets beat up, and he's like, where are you going, you dumb pieces of shit? And they rally in the distance like, wait, were we supposed to be doing something? Yeah, winning the fucking game. Why did you tear her out? Nothing happened to you. Nothing happened to you. Why did you run? Why did you answer me? Answer me, you dumb fucking pieces of shit. Why did you run? He needed you. The fuck is wrong with you? Jesus Christ. Skarsnik dies. The River Troll Hag's routing, and the game is over. All because of these fucks. What the hell was that? What the fuck was that? Why did they rout? Jesus Christ. Is Skarsnik forgotten? I don't think so. So the Greenskins won the ground fight overall. It was just, there was a Dragon Lord to deal with, and in the crucial moment, the full health fucking Stone Trolls just terror routed while Skarsnik was standing right next to them, ran away, abandoned him, so then he couldn't, like, surround that lady and beat her to death. The rest of the build did what it was supposed to. It killed all the stuff on the ground. Right? Yeah. Goblins did fine, Squigs did fine, Spider Riders did fine, the Orc Boar Boy Biggins did okay. Their value isn't going to show through sometimes, but they I mean, this one got charged downhill by Coldland Knights, but then that Coldland Knight killed that boar boy, but then the other two boar boys and spiders and stuff ran over and beat the shit out of it. So it's like, yeah, we lost one, but we got a more expensive unit trade. Like, the Greenskins won the ground game super hard, but a big flying Dragon Lord, similar problem for Skaven. It's a different dynamic, but it's a similar problem for Skaven as for Greenskins, is that, like, they don't have a ton of great mass to hold something down. So a Dragon Lord, a Be'lakor can kind of go where they please and hit what they want to hit. I am just flabbergasted those fucking Stone Trolls routed, though. That was upsetting, to say the least. Breast should have finished Scarsnick. Yeah. 2,800 on the Spring Sorceress of Dark. Coldland Knights did okay. Witch Elves did fine-ish. Black Orc Rambos did fine. Dark Riders did fine. Yeah, the Dark Elf roster in general, just trading cost-effectively across the board. Trolls living up to their name? Fucking trolls, man. GG, GG. Maybe save the second WAF for the late game, I guess. If you pressed Star Snake, it would have been over too, yeah. Yeah. That's 3-0. It's a shame. It's a shame. I just want to see that Terror out again. That was some horseshit. I just want to see that Terror out again. Dun 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 dun. How long even was the whole game? That game was so short. Oh, by the way, yeah. Some of the BBB guys were talking in chat. It is a 3-0. That second game was ruled to be fine. Close, but fine. So that it is a 3-0 for Hannodins. I was informed of that mid-game, so I hadn't updated the score because I was busy doing other stuff. So which Stone Trolls are it? It brings my heart some joy to see the Greenskins just rolling over Dark Elves like this. Stupid Dragon Lord. Ruining all the good things. Oh, Soul Stealer. Soul Stealer plus Dragon plus Witch Elves equals Dead Scarsnake. So let's see what's going on with the leadership here. We rally all the boys, we get all the lads together. Stone Troll leadership already not doing that great. Down to 20. Attacked in the rear. Attacked in the flank. Oh. Okay, so he's trying to... So Strat's trying to set up the bait. He's trying to, like, get them out of melee combat so that they just threaten and stuff. But that opens them up to attacks in the rear, so they're already kind of dipping in leadership a bit. Attacked in the flank, exhaustion under missile fire. And then they dip down to 5, losing currently, damage sustained, attacked in the rear, exhaustion under missile fire. And Terror out. Damn, man. It's brutal. What can trolls do against such reckless Dragon Lord? Fucking cowards. Grimgor was the way to go here. I know Rusty. If Rusty's still out there, Rusty fucking loves Grimgor. I hate it. I hate Grimgor. I think he's trash. I want to like Grimgor, but he's failed me too many times. He and Queek are meme lords that I can't get behind because of how irate they have made me. They have wronged me, and I never forget, and I never forgive. So fuck you, Grimgor and Queek. I hope you eat shit. Okay. I am going to leave now. Hopefully you all had a good time. Thank you to BBB for putting on these, the season 1. No matter how you feel about it. I know there has been some drama. There have been rule breaks, etc. All that shit that we're used to. I think we can all agree and take a moment of solidarity and say, thank you for putting this on. I know from experience, and Hannodins knows from experience, one of the players today, that putting together a tournament takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. And they did that. They did that for your entertainment. They did that for the players that wanted to play. And I do hope that while there is some saltiness, there is some disagreements between people. I hope we can all take a moment and thank them for their efforts. It's not easy. So thank you, BBB, putting that on. And tomorrow, thank you, ODM, for hosting a Challenger of the Grail tournament. Hannodins himself putting that together. I will be casting it for you all. We appreciate what you guys do. We do. Hopefully you guys can appreciate each other too. Not let your clan rivalry get in the way of good, friendly, Total War content. You fucks! You animals! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was inappropriate. I'll take that one back. When I burn in hell. Fuck you.